Average rate of return is like a profile picture for online dating. It paints a better picture than the reality. Even though it's extremely misleading, it's one of the most common terms financial professionals use. Why is it misleading? Let me show you how you can lie with math. Let's pretend there's a hypothetical market with the following returns. Up 50% in year 1, down 50% in year 2, up 50% in year 3, and down 50% in year 4. What's the average return in this market? 0%, right? Because the average return was 0%, you would think that you didn't lose any money throughout the 4 years. That's what I thought too, but we're dead wrong. If you invested $100,000 at the start, you would have lost 43.75% of your money, leaving you with only $56,250. How did this happen? When you started, you had $100,000 in your account. First year up 50%, you were at $150,000. Second year down 50%, you were at $75,000. Third year, you were up 50%, which brings you to $112,500. In the fourth year, you were down 50%, which meant you were only left with $56,250. In essence, your average rate of return isn't your actual return at all, not even close. Your average return was 0%, but your actual return was minus 43.75%. Wow. At this point, you might be wondering, what does this have to do with real life? No investment or market averages 0%. True, but this concept still applies. Your average return is not the return you actually get on your investments. Let's take the return of a real-life mutual fund, Fidelity Select Gold Portfolio, FSAGX. From 2018 to 2022, the average rate of return is 5.092% per year. And you get that by adding up all of the returns throughout the years, dividing it by 5. If you invested $100,000 at the start, you would have about $128,188 with the average rate of return of 5.092% per year. However, your actual rate of return paints a completely different picture. The actual rate of return for your $100,000 investment would only come to around $115,912, over $12,000 less than what you were supposed to get. To calculate your average rate of return, you take the sum of all of your annual investment returns dividing it by time. However, this number doesn't paint the real picture in the investment world. Typically, the average rate is higher than the actual rate, because the average rate neglects the true power of losses. This is why financial professionals love to use the average rate of return to advertise and sell their products. After all, who wouldn't want to exaggerate their measurements if they had a chance? All the men out there know what I'm talking about. Your height. I'm talking about your height. Get your mind out of the others. So what I mean when I say true power of losses, if you lose 10%, you would need to gain 11% to break even. If you lose 50%, you would need a full 100% gain to break even. You can never gain back the same percentage you lost to break even. The higher percentage you lost, the more you need to recover to break even. In contrast, your actual rate of return that gets compounded is calculated using this formula right here, where R is the interest rate, N is the number of times the interest is applied per time period. For example, if it's monthly, then N is equal to 12. A is the final amount, P is the initial principal amount, and T is the time in decimal years. So for example, if it's 6 months, then it will be 0.5 as T. In short, this formula is derived from the compound interest formula of A equals to P times 1 plus R divided by N raised to the NT power. For our previous example, we would have N is equal to 1, A is equal to $115,912, P is equal to $100,000 for the initial principal amount, and T is equal to 5 years. In essence, when we plug this in, we get R is equals to 2.997% per year. Basically, you get just below 3% per year over the course of 5 years. In this example, your average return of 5.092% has an actual return of less than 3%. Crazy, isn't it? So the next time your broker tries to sell you a hot mutual fund with a sexy average rate of return, your head should immediately go bogus, bogus, bogus. Lastly, if you value your rate of return, I'm guessing you do or you wouldn't be here, then you can't forget about your investment fees such as mutual fund fees and their catastrophic effects. They are the single most destructive force in your journey towards financial freedom. Do you know how much you pay in fees? A lot of people neglect them and don't realize how much money that 1% or 2% fee really is. In your investment lifetime, that 1% could cost you over $100,000. For that reason, the financial industry works hard to make sure these fees are as hidden as possible. However, you can change that today. It doesn't matter how great your returns are if your fees are killing you. So this next video will show you how you can find out and limit your fees.